Why didn't Voldemort create new Horcruxes? This question haunts fans. He craved immortality, tore his soul apart, and built the perfect defense system. But when his Horcruxes started getting destroyed, why didn't he make new ones? He had the opportunity. Or did he? Creating a Horcrux isn't just a spell. It requires murder and a complex ritual. Perhaps it demanded specific conditions, rare knowledge. Voldemort had little time left. He couldn't just create a new Horcrux whenever he wanted. Overconfidence played a role as well. Voldemort saw himself as invincible. Even after the diary was destroyed, he didn't take it seriously. He believed no one could eliminate all his Horcruxes. By the time he realized his mistake, it was too late. Or maybe he simply couldn't. Voldemort's soul was unstable. He himself admitted that every split weakened him. Another fragmentation might have killed him. By the final battle, he relied on an artificial body. A new Horcrux could have been his end rather than his salvation. There's another detail. Horcruxes didn't just protect him, they tied him to the world. But Voldemort couldn't control them. If a new Horcrux fell into the wrong hands, it would have been a weakness, not an advantage. But even knowing he was dying, why didn't he try? The answer may lie not in magical logic, but in narrative logic. Rowling created a powerful villain, but he needed to lose. If he could have made another Horcrux, the story wouldn't have reached its climax. But imagine if he had made a new Horcrux. What object would he have chosen? Whom would he have killed? Or did he simply not dare? Perhaps he feared not death, but what would happen to his soul if he tore it apart once more? What do you think? Why didn't he create a new Horcrux? But what if he really had a chance? If, in desperation, he had decided to take the risk, breaking all barriers, casting aside fear? That leads to the biggest question. What could he have used as his new Horcrux? The choice of object mattered. Voldemort always selected artifacts with history, things he believed could not simply vanish. Hufflepuff's cup, Slytherin's locket, Ravenclaw's diadem. He sought symbols of power, relics of the past. But at that moment, he had no time for such searches. He could have taken something at hand, his wand, his cloak, even his own ring. But would he have had the resolve to do it? Another crucial factor, who would he have killed? A Horcrux is created through murder. But not just any murder, a sacrifice of the soul. It is not a mechanical process. It is magic tied to emotion and energy. Perhaps Voldemort could no longer perform it the way he once did. His soul was a tattered remnant, no longer under his full control. After his resurrection, he had become something like a living Horcrux himself. Maybe another split would have simply shattered his consciousness. Moreover, he already had one unintended Horcrux, Harry. Though Voldemort was unaware of this, his own magic had worked against him, binding his soul to the very boy he had tried to kill. This reveals a deeper truth. Creating Horcruxes was never entirely under his control. He thought he was the master of his fate, but in the end, he became a victim of the very magic he sought to manipulate. Did he have a plan? Perhaps he believed he could defeat his enemies before the last Horcrux was destroyed. He was not one to retreat. He believed power was the ultimate answer. That's why he didn't waste time creating additional safeguards. He plunged straight into battle. In the end, it was his arrogance that led to his downfall. But let's imagine he had gone through with it. He found an object, committed a murder, and created a new Horcrux. Then what? Would it have saved him? Unlikely. The Order of the Phoenix and Harry would have destroyed him eventually. Horcruxes only granted him a chance to return. They did not make him invincible. Another Horcrux would have merely delayed the inevitable. And yet one can't help but wonder what went through his mind in his final moments, when he realized his end was near, that there was no hope left. Did he recognize his mistake? Or did he believe, until his very last breath, that he was moments away from finding a way to escape? Voldemort may have been a brilliant dark wizard, but it wasn't just magic that failed him. His own nature betrayed him. He never understood love, never valued human connection, and saw others only as tools or threats. He thought he could survive by tearing himself apart, never realizing that in doing so he had been killing himself long before anyone raised a wand against him. The question remains open: why didn't he create